My sister has been stealing from our parents by forging the checks. It is very complicated and it would take a while to explain it all, so I will try to stick with the basics. I work with my dad, and her boyfriend, who is the father of her children, works with us. Before work one morning, he noticed something odd in his account. So he went out to the office to check, and he was out there for a while. By the way, this comes from Mark Hayes 86, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
Oh, and I'm Mia.
And I'm Dakota, and we have a very special guest today. And that is Ft.Mia Samson. She's a wealth advisor and the director of marketing at Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. She specializes in working with professional women, entrepreneurs, and rising leaders, helping them take control of their finances with clarity, confidence, and a personalized plan. Welcome, Mia. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And I'm excited to hear your thoughts. OP says he called up the bank to ask them to go back a few years, and he and the lady on the phone started noticing a lot of checks that looked forged. My sister has mastered her forgery skills over the years because she has been basically writing out checks to her boyfriend's account nonstop for as long back as 5 years. This includes months ago when my parents offered to get my niece a reliable car because her own parents claimed to be too broke to afford one. The car her boyfriend is driving to work once belonged to me. It's a Corolla with the exhaust hanging off that I sold to him for $1 so he could get back and forth from work. Rather than fix the exhaust in the past few years or just get a decent car, he has bought a new pair of Nikes almost every week. What is he doing with the Nikes?
Showing him off?
Yeah, he's like every day he's just stomping
into his
around.
car?
Yeah, he's doing I used to do ballet, and when you have point shoes, you have to break them in, which is basically you literally you snap
I didn't do
them.
ballet, but I've heard about that.
Yeah,
Gone
yeah.
down some TikTok holes.
Yeah, and he's doing that. Even at work, he keeps checking his Nike account to see when the latest deals
do they
are.
work for a Nike store? Is he trying to
Yeah.
show off the merchandise at least?
I have no idea. It seems like he just really likes Nike.
Okay,
I feel like they should give him a deal
probably.
if you're buying a Nike every week. Oh, pause.
She was in the wrong place, and that's my fault. That's
Yeah.
my bad.
Setting me up for failure.
They've got the B squad back here today.
Even at work, he keeps checking his Nike account to see when the latest deals are, and he talks about how he's addicted to buying them. He, of course, has to spoil his daughter with a fresh pair of Nikes whenever she wants as well. Of course.
Nike family.
Yeah. Also, my niece needs a steak entree dinner every time so she can take 2 bites and then ask for dessert. What?
I don't know what to say there.
Okay. Thousands of dollars alone have been spent on Peapod deliveries from Stop and Shop because who would want to drive 5 minutes away and walk around a store? Not only that, they shoplift in front of their children so much that my niece says, Mom has her own spot in the store. They're very good at it. It seems like this mom is a very skilled criminal.
Yeah.
She knows how to forge checks and steal.
Is the spot
Very
like
well.
the area where she gets in trouble?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right?
wondering. Like, is it her spot where she steals or her spot
Like
where
she's
she
got
gets,
one aisle
Yeah.
that she loves?
She's like,
All
they
the
always
cereals.
have the best. Because they once stole an AC from Walmart while we were on vacation? Why? Was it hot? And I was with them the entire time and didn't even know until we got to the car. They get in the car and they're like, drive. How did they steal the brand new AC from Walmart in front of me and their children? Well, they forgot to scan it, of course, at self-checkout. I was happy to get out of there since it was the beginning of vacation and I didn't feel like getting arrested over an AC. Anyways, that's not even the beginning of it. However, it's already multiple paragraphs. I guess I'm writing this because this happened almost 2 weeks ago when he noticed his account. Yes, he feels stupid, but why should he? I asked him. Why should he expect his own daughter to be stealing blank checks from him every chance she could, even after he helps her with everything? I did reach out to her tonight, and the response was sickening. She not only attacked me for all my downfalls, but she basically takes no responsibility and acts like she is the victim. One line really stood out, as if it were in all caps. God forbid Dad part with his money. She's just a thief. She just wants to steal everyone's money. My parents have both worked hard, and when I was a kid, I didn't always spend time with my dad because he was working. He was only working for us. I realized this as I grew up, and I'm proud of both of them. And sometimes I want to do my own thing, but I'm still here because there's something about it that makes me happy. Maybe it's spending time with them, so it really hurts to see him feel so betrayed by his own daughter My sister, who I've never truly been angry at. So how much did he notice missing? From the jobs he has done over the last few years through both contractors, he should have roughly $250,000 in his checking account, but only $65,000 remains.
Oh, God.
How do you not notice that amount missing?
I'm going to say they need a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, Mia, maybe bring the mic a little bit
Yeah.
closer.
Whoop.
And you can
Perfect.
kind of point it like right at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk
There?
right into the top of the microphone there. Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Perfect. You can say it again.
Oh, they need a bookkeeper.
They do. Also, she went into his savings account. No. He spent hours printing out as many fraudulent checks as he could notice in his account.
So it's coming from
yeah.
business and personal?
It seems so.
Okay.
It seems so. Okay, yeah, because from the job he's done over the last few years, from his checking and his savings account, but that's where all of his business money is going.
Okay.
He went through an entire pack of Xerox papers you get from Staples. He had 2 separate piles of checks he printed out, one for his checking account and one for his savings account. The checking account pile was double the size and heavy to pick up for a stack of papers. Combined, it was about 2 packs of Xerox papers. I am now blocked by my sister, even though I was trying to be the peacemaker. Her boyfriend won't answer either, who I've always considered like a brother. So it felt awkward to leave several angry voicemails on both their phones because I've never yelled at either of them, except maybe my sister when I was a kid. I even told him something like, maybe if you stopped buying Nikes every week, you could fix your car or even buy a new one. He was more upset about the fact that he drove to work that day only to leave 10 minutes later after we arrived. My dad said, "Are you involved in this?" And he said, "What? Why would I come to work if I was stealing money?" Well, he showed up when he wanted, sometimes 2 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week. Sometimes he came around noon, all while helping my sister by basically stealing blank checks from the work check whenever he got a chance. Oh, so he was very obviously lying in on
Definitely.
this. Yeah.
I mean, they're not responding.
No,
so,
yeah.
Why would you not respond if you're not guilty, too?
Exactly.
Plead your case.
Yeah. So he could write out his own checks, or she could write them, since almost all were written by her to her account. She tried sending a text to them with an image of her bank account, showing nothing in it. What she didn't do is send an image of his account. She was basically trying to say, look, nothing in my account, to prove her innocence, but it instead made it more obvious because she wrote them all to his account. There are so many more details, but I just keep writing, and we're going to pause there because that was a lot of information.
That is a long story and
Yes.
a lot to take in.
And we still have more.
Okay.
But it seems like right now we have OP's father who has had a lot of money, like over
190,000 or so.
Something
Nearly
like that.
200,000.
Yeah, that amount of money stolen from his bank account. Do you have any advice about preventing that or what to do now?
I mean,
Yeah.
once you figure out that
Yeah.
this money is coming out of the account, I'd say definitely step 1, freezing the account.
Yes.
Changing bank account number.
Mhm.
Maybe not keeping. If it sounds like it's physical checks that she's writing.
Yeah, because it's the blank
Which-
checks that they're stealing from the company.
Unfortunately, aren't that difficult to
Yeah.
forge. I mean, we think about you write your parents' signatures sometimes, to get onto a field trip when you're younger.
Absolutely.
It's not rocket science per
Yeah.
se.
I
not
almost did that
keeping-
once, but then I felt so guilty that I stopped halfway through. But then the teacher came right when I stopped, and so she thought I was still doing it.
I don't think I actually ever used my
Yeah.
parents' signature, but I used to brag to my mom a lot that hers was super easy.
Yeah, my mom's is just scribble.
Yeah, basically,
It's
my
so
mom's
easy.
is a C and a scribble.
That's
so
my mom's.
perfect. We have the same mom
Yeah.
and
We'll
we're
find out.
sisters. Yeah, I'd say freeze the accounts. You need to have a talk with the
Yeah.
sister and I mean her husband as well. Is he still showing
Well,
up to work? It
boyfriend.
sounds like
Yeah,
boyfriend.
which is weird because he works there. So yeah, I feel
he's
like
fired, right?
I
He's
would
gotta be
hope
fired.
so. I
would hope that he'd be fired. Accounts
Yeah.
are changed, things are frozen. The bank
Yeah.
clearly knows about it.
Yeah.
Because they were talking to the bank.
Yeah. So it's good that they're involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say those are the first steps, but trying to get them to admit fault even just in a family setting. Or why, an explanation
Yeah.
as to why.
Like we could have
Where are you
given you a
coming
pay
from?
raise before you stole
Was
all
it
this
just
money.
for the Nikes or was it for basic necessities?
It was for the steak.
It was for the steak,
Yeah,
of course.
the niece
but
needs
since
steak
it's for
dinners.
the steak.
There have been a lot of times that I felt bad about not getting up for work. I have plenty of my own flaws. There have been times when I let my depression get the best of me, And I didn't go to work because I know he will forgive me, even though I know he's disappointed in me. Like I hinted at earlier, I've never really been sure if this is what I want to do. One thing I have never done, though, is take a blank check and write out whatever sum of money I feel like. Not once, not twice, not hundreds of times. They took so many that they seem confused about why they are even upset. Just money, right? I mean, he's making money. Why can't they have some? Maybe some weeks he didn't feel like $500 was enough for 3 days of work, so he steals a blank check. And my sister writes him an $800 check. In the same week, my sister will come over saying how broke she is, and they'll sympathize with her and write her out a check. By the way, you should sympathize with us and listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Not yet.
Yeah. Have you had
No.
any similar, in advising people about financials and stuff where they've dealt with family members or?
I mean, definitely
yeah.
dealing with family members.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that they're necessarily stealing
Sure.
from their family members, but more so that they feel deserving. A child feels deserving of their parents' money.
Yeah.
A lot of times we see this in wealthier households, and trying to then meet with the children as well and
Yeah.
temper their expectations of what they deserve and what they work for.
Mhm.
I feel like my thoughts actually, now that I am thinking back to the $500 not being enough for 3 days of work, seems like could have negotiated his salary
Exactly.
or pay,
Yeah.
or maybe come into work a little bit more.
Just so many other options.
Yeah,
It feels like this is just kind of their MO if they're stealing an AC
right.
for seemingly no reason at all.
Definitely.
Some people
Yeah.
just like the thrill of
Yeah.
the thrill of the hunt.
I think that might be
To
them.
go on for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of like maybe like a cultural thing not a cultural, but like a learned behavior in the family.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this
Definitely.
is just accepted. It's like you can steal from people, you can steal from places, and it's fine.
And it also seems a little bit more casual in this workplace because OP already said, I don't have to come in all the time and he gets it. And,
Right.
I don't work that hard all the time.
I'm curious what kind of business it is, too.
Yeah. I wonder.
I don't know that
It's an
that
air
would shed light
conditioning
into anything?
business.
Yeah.
Air conditioning. Okay.
Steal ACs. My family, we swear a lot and can rant, but we have a sense of humor. So we started joking when he was going over all the forged checks in his account. And anytime Christmas rolled around, whether it was 2022, 21, 20, 19, my sister went on a big shopping spree. Those holidays, she got real busy forging those checks. Sometimes it was 2 days apart. A few were real ones written by my mom because she wants her grandchildren to have a good Christmas. That was nice and all, but why not just write out 3 other blank checks for yourself in the same week? The memo for those checks usually said, the girls, meaning my sister's kids. So it was nice to hear my dad joke again and say, oh, look, the girls need more money. Quick, get your checkbook out for the girls. Well, we don't exactly want to ruin either of their lives and get police involved, and they won't respond now, so I have no idea what to do. Any advice?
I mean, again, I'd say go back to the freeze
Yeah.
accounts and the have conversations.
Yeah.
They don't want to get police involved, is what they said?
Which is surprising to me, but also I guess not that surprising if you were just kind of chill with being the getaway car when they stole an AC. So it seems like you kind of expect
I
this
mean, people
behavior.
also give a lot more leeway to their
yeah,
family,
to family,
too.
of course. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think I would act differently in this situation where
I agree.
I would file a police report.
yeah.
I mean, at minimum, first of all, it has all the money been spent, or is it sitting in a different account? That's another
Yeah,
question.
is this something you can get back?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not in her account. Is it in her husband's account? It is in another bank account under her name that she
Yeah.
didn't share with them. I'd assume based on her behavior, it's all been spent.
So
But, I think theoretically they could get an agreement of them somehow paying the dad back,
yeah.
but still likely best to do a police report.
I think if you actually want the money back, I think that is probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But that's the end of that story. So we're going to get into some questions. I'm Sophia, and we've got a guest that's going to answer these questions.
Oh, yeah. I'm Mia. I'm a financial advisor in Los Angeles. I work with a lot of women, people in tech, entrepreneurs, and people in healthcare, too. Yeah, I work for Gerber Kawasaki. We're pretty unique because we have no investment minimum, so really able to work with a wide array of people and who I get along with.
That's lovely. And we got some questions from our fans who say, this is an anonymous sender, who says, I, 38 female, have always struggled with financial understanding and budgeting as my parents were extremely bad with money, i.e. gambling and other vices. Question, I'm on disability but am trying to start up a small business around my artwork as I paint and draw on commission, but I have no idea how to get started. I would love any advice or tips.
Okay, awesome. First of all, you're not alone in not being 100% sure on how to handle money. I think a lot of people aren't taught proper budgeting skills or, about investing. And it's been a really large gap just within our education system as a whole. So I guess the question's more about what to do with starting hers or his anonymous
Hers.
business.
So it's about starting up a small business with artwork as she paints and draws on commission. So just like trying to figure out how to start that.
I'd say first it's understanding, your market and what you are selling it for and where you are selling it, because, what you're expecting to make from the artwork, how much time it's going to take you to do this. Is this your full-time job? Is this a side hobby? Because all of those factors are going to affect your financial budget, and then I'd say your time budget as well.
Mm-hmm.
Time budget, I think that's a really cool concept, because a lot of people disregard how long an endeavor will take, and it's like,
Especially
well,
art.
Definitely. And I think a lot of times when people have more businesses that are involving art, a lot of times it starts out as a side business and then maybe becomes their full-time job too.
As it becomes more like lucrative.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's different ways to incorporate yourself as a business. I don't think that you need to jump into doing that right away. I think, again, it comes first to the fundamentals of, what you're selling, how much you're selling it for, how much you expect to sell and gain from it. And then when you start to see those profits and, prove yourself as a business, then it's coming into question of more, should I incorporate myself as an S corp or, dependent on liabilities, an LLC.
Yeah, absolutely. Great answer. Question 2 comes from Belton, who I don't know if they're here. Let us know if you're in the chat. Do I really need to sign up for and pay for a vendor's license if I don't plan on selling much in a year? It feels counterproductive to pay $50 for a license on top of a booth fee just to maybe sell $200 worth of items once a year. I know this varies by state and I'm not in California, but I want to do things right while not wasting away what small profits I'll make.
Okay. I'll admit, I'm not super familiar with the way that vendors' licenses work, but I do know that they do vary by state as far as the cost and what you need them for. Technically, the answer should be, yes, you should have a vendor's license. I'm going to say most people, when, again, they're starting out businesses, likely don't. But if you're going to sell at a booth, like at a street fair sort of thing, you likely do need that.
Yeah.
I think the question comes to, if you're planning on making $200 for the entire year, at least I know booths that we've done around Santa Monica or around Venice. When you rent a booth, it's like $1,000 to $3,000 usually.
So it probably wouldn't be worth it if you were only
right.
making, yeah.
So is that the best use of your time and money, essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, here's another question. Has anyone started their own business after retirement? And this comes from Pupper Scooper.
Oh, definitely.
Who says, I am on track to retire in a few years. I am very excited to retire from the rat race. And when I think about what I will do when I no longer work a 9 to 5, I have always pictured running my own business. I would ideally like to open a dog daycare. My wife and I have always owned dogs and know all of the dog daycares in the area well. There are only 2 within 10 miles, so the market is there. While I know a lot about dogs, I admittedly don't know much about starting and owning a business. We own a home with a yard, but I assume we will need to purchase a commercial property to do this the right way. We have been using Rover for a couple years now and have hosted a few dogs at a time for overnight boarding before. So we do have a pretty good network of local dog owners. Is it feasible to start the business from our home at first? What kind of factors do we need to take into account? If anyone has advice, that would be great. For some more background info, I will be retiring with a combined savings of 1.2 million?
Mega million.
It's MM. And my wife wishes to continue to work. I can be on her healthcare for minimal cost, and her salary is enough to cover all of our current expenses. The house will be 100% paid off by the time I retire. Any thoughts about that? I guess the main question there is OP's about to retire and is looking into starting a dog daycare and potentially in their own home.
I mean, I think it's definitely common for people to start businesses once they retire. Some
Yeah.
people are just truly the type that don't want to stop working,
Yeah.
and I think it's an interesting idea doing a doggy daycare. I have a couple thoughts about a couple different parts of the story.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I mean, Rover, it sounds like they've had a couple dogs from Rover
Yeah.
from time to time. I wonder how different it would be having a bunch of dogs, or, you know, what they're talking about for this to be
Yeah.
a full-time business.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I wonder how much cost it would take putting money into this too, like what their idea and vision is for it, or is it just dogs come over and stay at their house?
Yeah. I think you should watch the movie Hotel for Dogs.
I don't know that movie.
It's great. I loved that movie. It's
Okay.
basically about these two kids who start a hotel for dogs, but they're in the
Spoilers.
foster care. Well, no, that's yeah, you're right. But they're in the foster care and they have to deal with that as well. Yeah.
All
great
right,
movie.
put it on the movie list.
Put it on the yeah, gotta watch it.
As far as what he has saved for retirement, 1.2 million, you know, big number when you talk about just numbers. But if you are planning to have an amount for retirement that you don't outlive, you typically only want to take around 4 to 5% of it per year. So 1.2 million, you're looking at around 60,000 per year as your salary. So if that's what you can live on, then
Mhm.
that's an ample amount. But if doing this dog business is going to take a good amount away from it,
Yeah.
you know, then what's that going to do for your future retirement?
Sure. Good point. Another person says, I'm about to receive a very large inheritance from my parents, and I have no idea what to do with it. Help. And this person says, from True Off My Chest, I don't want to say the exact number for privacy reasons, but let's just say my inheritance is in the 8 figures ballpark, US dollars. This is a monumental amount of money, and I don't want it to ruin me. I've heard horror stories of folks running into money and letting it be their downfall. My parents worked very hard for this and had amazing careers, the both of them, and I will absolutely not squander it. For background, I have a decent savings at my age, 30s, but I no longer work as I stay home with the kids. Feel like you don't have to work anymore. My husband makes a great living already, north of $200,000 a year, so it's not like this money is something we were depending on or anything. We already live a comfortable life. Do I consult a lawyer, a financial advisor, both? Continue using my parents' financial advisor? And there is another story, but that was the question there.
I'd say all of the above are important, you know, talking definitely to a financial advisor to, first of all, understand what the money is that you're coming into, because
Mhm.
what type of accounts are they, or what type of inheritance is this? That's usually step one with inheritance, is making sure that the person who is inheriting understands everything.
Yeah.
Because you can't act rationally until you know the types of accounts that you have and, you know, way that it's structured. Another thing comes to, you know, it sounds like they're comfortable right now. What are their future goals? You know, do they have kids? And
Yeah.
I forget if that was
I
part of the
believe
story.
they
Did they?
do.
You know,
have-
are they
they do have
covered in
kids, yes.
paying for college? Are they, you know, looking to upgrade their house at a certain point? Like, then you can start to make strategic
Yeah.
moves around that. I'd say with having kids already, but now having this large sum of money come in, another big thing is estate planning for yourself.
Mhm.
So it sounds like the person who's passed these funds to them had a
Yeah.
plan set up.
Yeah.
But
so
now
you have to,
it's
yeah,
kind of
for
their
your
turn
kids.
to do
Sure.
that too. Working with the parent's financial advisor, I think, can work out a lot of times. You know, they know the accounts that the person has. If they don't have a relationship with that financial advisor prior to this, you know, that's where I'd say just explore your options, because there might be someone who's a better fit for you, someone who's a good fit for one person isn't a great fit for another. And have they not shown any interest in your financial life prior to this either?
Yeah. Great answer. Got another one who says, seeking some advice from women who are already in finance. Foodie Tuna from Women in Finance says, I am a student right now doing my master's in finance and I want to work in M&A. I am pretty intimidated by the atmosphere of it because of how male dominated it is by aggressive men. I feel like people around me know way more than me and I feel so lost. I want to seek advice from fellow big sisters who are already in the field. And do you have any advice for OP?
They probably don't know way more than you, to be
Mhm.
honest. I would say, you know, if they're coming in at the same time, they don't likely know more than you. You have a master's
Yeah.
in this subject, and you just need to be confident in your own skills too.
Yeah, I mean, you were hired, so.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
hired. And most people, when you come into a new job, you're not going to know everything about a new job. That's the whole point of, onboarding. You can be an experienced person, go to a next job and have to learn about the way that a new company
Yeah.
does their things. I'd say connecting with other women in M&A, if there's any other women in the company, and just asking them about their experience and, what they wished they did different or what they were happy that they did. Just making those connections, I think, always helps. But yeah, men do come off more confident than women a lot of times in finance, but it doesn't also always necessarily translate to knowledge. And there's been studies about this before too, about, men tend to invest a lot earlier than when women do, because women tend to feel a little less confident about their skills investing. But it doesn't mean that one or the other has greater knowledge.
Sure. Yeah. Interesting. Another story. Mother has dragged the family through a financial muck for years through bankruptcy and back, and is again wasting her inheritance. Deleted from Personal Finance says, my mom is obsessed with horses. It's her childhood passion and has for the past 20 years been trying to make it big by breeding top-class dressage horses. It has failed in the past, is failing now, and will only continue to do so until the last drop of change in my father's pocket has vanished.
Oh boy.
Wow. If only a horse obsession could be likened to the condition that consumes a crazy cat lady, I could shrug it off. But the sordid fact remains that horses, at least the brand she buys, generally cost upwards of $10K to $15K. And one horse leads to two to four, and so on and so forth. And also just horse maintenance and the amount of space that you need for horses is another,
Sounds like they have a lot of
cost.
horses now.
Yeah. She's 56, has no job, never held a real career, and no prospects with her PhD in theology. We've had our home foreclosed and moved 5 times since 2008 in the ever fruitless attempt to find rental property that suits her misguided, four-legged ambitions.
Hold on now. You teach theology to horses.
Yeah, business idea. Have we thought about that? My father earns great money, $140,000 a year, as a software engineer in Silicon Valley for a tech giant. And our family should never have needed to worry about money. But he's toothless. I love him so much, but he has never had the cojones to stand up to my deluded, money-hungry mother and say no. The most worrying of all, he is 55, has no retirement savings, and as he comes from a poor family overseas, no inheritance to count on. A year ago, my maternal grandmother passed away, and my mom inherited something in the range of $1 million. We had no money at the time, and it seemed like a godsend. I think I know where that money's going.
I have a feeling.
Yeah. I was a college student working 25 hours a week on top of an engineering course load to pay for rent and food, and another brother of mine was doing the same. I thought, finally, that some of the weight of debt and financial stress would vanish. But oh, I was so wrong. She took the money, sparing not a dime, and bought a ranch for the horses, a new Dodge truck and trailer, and purchased 4 new mares, a female horse for breeding, from Germany for at least, because I can only estimate, $80,000.
Per horse? Or
for that horse?
Well,
that's a good, yeah. I don't know. I hope for all 4. I would hope for all 4.
I hope for all 4.
She built a barn, a fence system, and with it tossed away the last dime of her inheritance. But it's not enough. She now needs more money to get the farm running and is again drawing it from my father, who is trying to pay for my 2 brothers at top universities. I've graduated and won't strain his wallet anymore. I just don't understand what to do. I feel like I should help my dad financially for my brother's sake, but any extra money he has will go to my mother and just disappear. I have a job and it's stressful, but challenging and fantastic and pays well. So I feel like I should help my dad, but I just don't know what to do. The horse business and its issues. I work in management consulting, and it doesn't take long to run the simple calculations that show the horse breeding business model is flawed. She'll never make money off of it and will only balloon in risk and plummet in risk worthiness. At best, assuming no veterinary complications, you can make $6,000 a year built on a base of assets worth $300,000. Just putting the money in the market, just a low-risk mutual fund would return at a better rate.
Yeah, we've actually got Serenity Horse Ranch in the chat.
Woo!
Says the best way to become a millionaire in horses is to start as a billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's so much money to spend on.
I don't know how. So it's a horse breeding business.
It's a
right?
horse breeding business.
And there's
it
some pretty
seems.
expensive horses, but
Yeah.
it seems like a long time frame and turnaround.
Yes,
I would assume.
I mean, it takes a while for horses to grow.
Fall in love.
Yeah, fall in love. You got to introduce a horse to each other, and they can't just. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want to rush it. But what are your thoughts that you can give to OP?
Oh my god, I don't even know where to start. So it
yeah.
sounds like the full inheritance that she got is gone now.
Yes, all gone.
From the
Yes.
horses, spent on the horses, spent on the farm.
Yeah.
And so now she's drawing even more from
The dad,
The
or
dad.
OP's dad. And I guess OP, he's wondering, how do I help my dad? Should I give money? Like what ways financially can I help my
I think
brothers?
it becomes a really, really slippery slope when you start giving money to someone who's an extreme spender in this way.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be heartless, but at this point, this is really the parents' issue. And I know that this person feels for their dad, but it's something that they're ultimately going to need to solve. But another sad part about it is a lot of times if you don't check on your parents' financial plan or their finances in general, their financial plan becomes your financial plan, unfortunately. So I do think that it's important, if you do have open communication with your dad, with your mom, to be able to sit down with them and talk about, hey, maybe this horse business hasn't been going very well. You're 55. Is that what it said?
Mm-hmm.
55. People are usually retiring around 65 to 75 these days. You're pretty close to retirement. Maybe we should focus on things that we know are going to provide for you in the future.
Yeah.
You don't want to be moving around and not have a home at the time that,
Just
you're
have
moving into
horses.
retirement just for horses.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could sell the horses, but at that point the horses would be how long do horses live?
Like 40 years.
Oh,
Yeah. They live a long time.
you'd have to sell the horses at that point.
Yeah. No, I think it seems like it's not the best situation. I was kind of thinking maybe, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. I was thinking if OP wanted to help his brothers, maybe directly giving that money
Yeah.
rather than giving it to your dad, who probably would give it to your mom.
Right. I think that if OP has the means to
Yeah.
help the brother and the brother needs funds to get through college, then that makes a little bit more sense to me.
Yeah.
But I could also see that then being, I don't know, the mom coming to them.
Yes.
For funds
directly.
after
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. If she knows that they have that.
Right. Exactly.
So slippery slope.
Slippery slope for sure.
But we have another story that we're gonna get into
That
in
we
just
do.
a moment. I live full time on a cruise and managed to save money.
I mean, that sounds like the life.
Hey, Fire Fam. I want to share a little experiment I've been doing that might sound crazy at first, but hear me out. It's been a game changer. A few months ago, I decided to give up my overpriced apartment and start living full time on a cruise ship. Yep, you read that right. And spoiler alert, it's been cheaper than renting in a high cost of living city like Boston or New York, and honestly, way more fun. By the way, this comes from the Hungry Ninja 1809, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Mia.
And I'm Dakota, and we do have a special guest, Mia Samson, with us here today. Mia, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Mia. I'm a financial advisor here in LA. I work with a lot of women, a lot of entrepreneurs, tech investors, people in healthcare, just really to the whole financial picture. So helping them with investing, budgeting, whole nine.
And we're going to help OP today. Let me walk you through how this all started, says OP, why I did it, and what the experience has been like. I live, or used to live, in Boston, where rent for a decent one-bedroom apartment is around $3,500 per month. Add in utilities, groceries, gym memberships, and entertainment, and I was easily spending $4,500 plus per month. It was a lot, especially since I'm aggressively saving for FIRE. What is that?
Financial independence,
Oh.
retire early.
Oh.
It's a big thing where people put a lot of money away so that they can retire sooner.
I thought it was like a concert or something, and they were just really aggressively saving for this
I really want to
concert.
go to the fire concert.
I've gotta
I
go.
want to see all of the fire.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. One day I came across an article about someone who lived on a cruise ship full time, and it got me thinking. I crunched the numbers and realized a budget or mid-tier cruise could cost me $2,000 to $4,000 per month, including housing, food, and entertainment. It sounded insane at first, but I decided to give it a shot. I started with a month-long cruise in the Caribbean to test the waters, pun intended. I booked an interior cabin on a budget-friendly cruise line for around $2,000. That price included a private cabin, way cozier than my apartment, unlimited meals from buffets to sit-down dinners, entertainment every night, live music, Broadway-style shows, poolside movies, you name it. Utilities like electricity, heating, and even basic Wi-Fi. By the end of the month, I was hooked. It wasn't just a vacation, it felt like a lifestyle upgrade. I extended my stay and have been living at sea ever since. Honestly, my first question is, who are your friends?
I mean, you make new friends every week, right?
Yeah.
The crew members.
I guess, yeah, the crew member. But do the crew members, like, yeah, I guess.
Do they want to be
do
friends
they
with
wanna
you?
Be? Yeah,
or are
they're
they
like,
forced to be friends
"Oh."
with you?
They're like, this OP's never leaving. Yeah.
I'm not sure. And how long has this been going on for?
It seems
Few months.
a while.
A few months.
Yeah. It's better than renting because it's cheaper than my apartment. My all-in cost for a month on the cruise were $2,500, including gratuities and a few drinks. Compare that to $4,500 plus for city living, and I'm saving at least $2,000 per month. No grocery bills. Imagine eating every meal at a restaurant without ever worrying about the bill. I hate that. I don't. I like cooking.
I was going to say sounds nice,
Yeah.
but I'm horrible at cooking. So.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like that part. That's my reality now, from omelets in the morning to steak dinners at night. The food is amazing and unlimited. Built-in entertainment. Forget Netflix, I get live shows, comedy acts, karaoke nights, and pool parties every day. There's no such thing as boredom on a cruise. Travel included. My home docks in new destinations every few days. So far, I've been to Mexico, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. All without paying for flights or hotels. No chores ever. I don't clean, cook, or even make my bed. The crew takes care of everything, giving me so much more free time to work on hobbies, read, or just relax. What's your job?
That's what I'm wondering.
What's your job? It has to be something that's, you're able to travel with.
I mean, you're definitely working remote
Yeah.
in this sense, but also, if you're going to all these places, are you getting off the boat or do you just have to work the whole time?
It seems like OP's getting off the boat to travel and see these places. So
Not bad.
yeah, what is your job that allows you that? I don't honestly care so much about the perks of the cruise. I just want to know what your job is.
My guess would be day trader. I'm guessing it's trading because
Do
all
have
you
any
need
guesses?
is internet.
Could be that, but I couldn't imagine that internet would be fast enough on a cruise for day trading.
Yeah, I mean you can get
depending.
internet, but like it's not. I don't know if it's gonna be the best.
Are they doing Zoom calls?
It's a good question. Just from this.
I'm like, do you know?
Yeah. Let me call. Here's a quick breakdown of my monthly costs compared to my old apartment. Rent, $3,500 on land versus $0 on a cruise. That's not true. I mean,
Like the cost of the
the
cruise.
cost is the cruise. Utilities, $200 on land versus $0 on a cruise. Groceries, $600 on land versus $0 on a cruise. Entertainment, $200 on land versus $0 on a cruise. Cruise fare, $0 on land versus $2,500 on a cruise. You're spending $200 a month on entertainment on land?
Between subscriptions, I guess.
I
mean,
guess, like $10.
and it depends on what you're categorizing as
That's
entertainment too. Are you going to movies? Are you going to a small concert every month?
That's true. That could, yeah. Total $4,500 per month on land versus $2,500 per month on a cruise. I'm saving $24,000 per year while living a life that feels like a permanent vacation. Well, I'm happy for you. Is it for everyone? Probably not. But if you're flexible with work, I'm remote, enjoy traveling, and don't mind cozying up in a small cabin, it's worth trying. Some things to keep in mind. Wi-Fi. It's not lightning fast, but it works for emails and basic browsing. Seasickness. I've adjusted, but Dramamine is your best friend. Laundry. Some cruises have self-service laundry or full service for a fee. And there are some comments, but do you have any thoughts about OP's eccentric lifestyle?
I mean, it does sound great.
Yeah.
And even if you do it for a year, you save $24,000.
And you travel to a bunch of places.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of situations where it couldn't work, if
Yeah.
you know,
it's
you have
very
a
specific
partner
job. Yeah.
and they're not game for doing this, or they don't have a
Yeah.
job that's conducive with it. I feel like I would end up off of the boat and not want to be working,
Yeah.
and I would somehow end up spending money at these different locations.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah. Wanting to like explore the options and stuff.
I mean, the thing with the fire lifestyle is you're very mindful of your
Mhm.
spending, so they probably aren't doing that. But I guess I'm just thinking about it of even when I've done, very budget friendly trip,
Yeah.
I always go out somewhere,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
some sort of adventure.
Same. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I traveled about like 2 years ago. I went on like a 3-month backpacking trip with friends, and yeah, and I was budgeting super hard, but even then, like there are still some nights where you're spending a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
Or just you get, random expenses that you weren't expecting.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of confused about the laundry part. Not that that's a big.
I think they were
Sure.
just saying like it's not always included. That like
Okay.
you might have to pay a fee.
But
for
they do.
laundry.
But the cruise
Yes.
ship does it for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it can be expensive because I stayed at a hotel when I was actually traveling. My friend's parents had like a bunch of points for like a 5-star hotel in Rome.
Yeah.
We stayed at this really nice hotel, and it was expensive to do laundry there.
Oh,
It's
I
like per
bet.
piece of laundry,
Right.
which is crazy. So we took it to a laundromat.
And I mean, this goes back to how long you can do it for. I mean, yeah. Again, a year saving 24,000 more
Yeah.
than you would have before is a huge step. But are you planning to continue this for a long time?
Yeah, I personally would. I just would miss my friends and
Definitely.
But it seems like OP is less attached than I think. Like a lot of people,
Right.
or some people. But it works for OP, and that's all that matters. Common One says there are retirees who do this. Basically, live on a ship until they pass away. OP says, yeah, they're called deck dwellers. My favorite term is Margaritaville nomads.
I like
LOL.
that.
Common 2 says, so you tried it for a month, then while on that cruise found another leaving from the same place? Or did you have to get a new embarkation location? You have not gone through the busy time, so what is your fallback if there are no cheap cruises available? What did you do with your stuff? If it's in storage, how much did that cost? Since you're working remotely, I take it the internet is okay? OP says, I'm planning to do this out of Miami since it's a major hub for budget-friendly cruise lines like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, MSC. These lines have constant sailings from Miami, so my plan is to schedule itineraries that align. When one cruise ends, I can disembark in the morning and reboard another ship that same day or shortly after. So yeah, you do lose your cruise ship friends.
Yeah. Oh, right. Because you're going on a
Yeah.
new cruise.
Yeah.
So you got to make new friends every week.
Yeah.
I guess it's not too different from backpacking
That's
where you're going
true.
place to place and
Yeah.
make friends at your new hostels.
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get one of them to come with you.
Exactly.
Another deck dweller. Since Miami is so busy with cruise traffic, it seems like the perfect port to make this work without much hassle. With a little planning, I think it'll be easy to keep bouncing between cruises. Internet is fine enough to do the type of work that I do. Common 3 says, out of curiosity, what work do you do? OP says, I have a fully remote job with a very flexible schedule in sales, so I can do my calls whenever it fits my schedule, so long as I hit my targets. We have 2 weekly meetings, Monday and Friday, to check in, but those are easy to plan around. Reply says, the only time I've taken a cruise as an adult, there was a clear expectation from a large number of staff members that I'd be tipping them. This added significantly to the cost of the cruise, but it doesn't seem to be in your costs. How do you handle tipping? OP says, tipping is definitely something to consider, but it's pretty straightforward. Most cruise lines charge automatic gratuities, which are about $14 to $20 per person per day, and cover the staff who make your stay amazing. Housekeeping, dining, etc. For a month-long cruise, that adds up to around $420 to $600. While that might seem like a lot, it's already factored into my $2,500 monthly budget. Plus, when you compare it to what I was tipping on land, restaurants, delivery drivers, etc., it's not much different, just consolidated into one fee. Some lines even let you prepay gratuities, which makes it easier to plan.
I just started hearing everything OP's saying in a pirate voice.
Yeah, they've been on it so long that they
now
fully-
are
yeah
a pirate.
They now are a pirate. Yeah.
Yar,
That's how
when
it
you compare
works.
it to tipping on land, it's relatively the same.
That's a good pirate voice.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to get some recognition.
Thank you, God. Common 4 says, this is amazing. I did some research on this a few years back and likely read the same articles and saw the same YouTubers. But you've added a lot of extra color to this. At some point, I'm going to give it the 1 month try like you're doing. I'm going to do this, but instead of cruises, I'm going to go to a Ren fair and just live there.
I love that.
Yeah, because they have one in Texas, which is just, it's the biggest Ren fair, I think, in the world. And I'm just going to live there forever.
Does it go on for a month?
I think it goes on forever.
You'd have to become a Ren Fair influencer,
Yeah.
though.
I could.
Yeah, but then does that take away the fun of it? It becomes your job.
Or I could just be a...
and you live in your own prison
Yeah.
of your own design.
No! By the way, have you looked at repositioning cruises? These cruises tend to be cheap as they are many days out at sea and they travel far. Might be a good way to potentially cut down on the expenses as well. Cut down more! You could always save more! Or are you constrained to being in a specific time zone? And we've got one more comment from OP, which I'll read. OP says, regarding time zones, good question. To keep things simple, I stick to cruises that operate in the same time zone. For example, I'll bounce between cruises that depart from the same port, like Miami or Fort Lauderdale, and focus on itineraries in the Caribbean or nearby regions. I plan the itineraries carefully so they line up. One cruise ends and the next one starts shortly after. This way, I don't have to worry about adjusting my work hours too much, and I still get to enjoy a variety of destinations without jumping between drastically different time zones. Takes a bit of planning, but it's totally manageable. And that is the end of that story that advertised living on a cruise. Do you have any thoughts about cruise living or just how to save money in a way that's not living on a cruise?
In a way that's not living on a cruise. I think one of the best ways to save money is to be aware of your budget and be aware of where you're spending the money. So I think it starts there. You know, housing expenses, said in the beginning, are very high, which makes sense because she was in Boston or New York or something like that.
Boston, New York, right?
You know, comparable to, you know, how we are in LA, it's expensive, but you usually still want to keep your housing expenses, if you can, under 30% of your gross income. So your income before taxes. And going over that, it means that you have to make compromises in other parts of your budget. Yeah. And then the other part of just good savings, I guess, habits are, you know, starting with saving at the beginning of the month. So it's called pay yourself first. And rather than, you know, spending what you spend and trying to save what you have left over, it's being intentional about your savings. You know, I'm saving to buy a house in 5 years and I'm going to need a $200,000 down payment. How much do I need to save every single month to get to that? And instead making it almost like it's a bill rather than being an afterthought.
Yeah. Great answers. So you don't have to live on a cruise.
No.
You could, there are other ways.
But it might be for you.
But you might
be
want
a
to.
Margaritaville nomad. That might be your lifestyle.
That might be your calling, your vocation. But we do have another story coming up.
Yes, we do.
Yay. I got my girlfriend pregnant before college, and now I don't know what to do.
Oh, baby.
Like stated in the title, I am an 18-year-old about to go off to university. I leave on September 4th. My girlfriend is also 18, but still in high school. However, yesterday, my girlfriend informed me that she was late on her period and took a pregnancy test. It came out positive. She said she was planning on having the baby, and I, of course, 100% respect her decision. By the way, this comes from someone. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Mia.
And I'm Dakota.
But OP says, because she's still in high school, she can't fully support the baby by herself on a part-time job, no matter how hard she works. My plan originally was to go to university for 1 year and then come back home to go to a university closer to my home. Long distance isn't really my thing, and the university I'm planning to go to is 6 hours away. However, because of this new and unexpected complication, I was wondering if it would be a better idea to try to find a job around my area to support her and the baby. I don't really expect nor want her to be alone while going through her pregnancy. Should I try to find a decent paying job around my area and support my girlfriend and child? Or should I go, as I originally intended, to a university 6 hours away and then come back and try to support her? I have decent skills in computer software and coding, and I worked at a local bakery for a long enough time to maybe manage the store. Also, I know getting a girl in high school pregnant is hella idiotic and definitely needed more planning or protection on my part. We did use Plan B after having Spicy Sleep, but it wasn't right away, though it was within the 3-day time frame. It sounds like you did it 3 days after.
I didn't even know you could do it 3 days
No,
after.
they say
That's
as
not a
soon
thing,
as
right?
possible.
Okay,
They say like
okay.
within 24 hours.
That's what I thought.
I don't know where you got the 3 days from. It's as soon as possible, OP.
I think they got like a little like I
Yeah.
don't know if you call it dyslexia, but it's like that's after 3 days is when it's no longer effective at
Yeah.
all.
Oh.
So it's like you took it when it doesn't work anymore.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. Well, you already know the consequences of this. I don't plan on leaving my girlfriend to have this baby by herself, but I am at a loss for what to do. Help, please. And there are some comments, but do you have any advice, financial or otherwise, for OP?
There's a lot of variables here because raising a child is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
I think the national average is, I want to say it's $11,500 per year.
Yeah.
I might be off on that, so don't quote me. But it's around that and much more expensive in states like California. And there's diaper costs and then, decisions of who stays home or are they going to daycare.
Yeah.
The bills rack up really quick. It's basically another rent or another mortgage, depending on your situation. As far as college, I mean, I very much think it's important to go to college. But now it's, 2 people that need to make that decision together.
And it seems like they're staying together, at least
Yeah.
so far.
But then he says long distance not his thing.
Yeah.
It's going to have to become your thing.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just be like, I don't really do long distance, so me and the baby are, I'm
Right.
breaking up with that baby.
But maybe there's another,
I was thinking community college.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Community
Just do
college
something
close by.
closer.
Which, then you could always transfer to another college.
Yeah, once
The
you kind
kids
of,
too,
Mhm.
once you
or
finish.
if they move, or
Right.
something, yeah.
Exactly. So I think community college would be a good answer in this scenario because you're still getting those base classes. A lot of times you end up switching majors anyways. I
Yeah.
did that like 3 times.
Yeah, I added a major, and I didn't
Yeah.
know I was gonna do going in, so it's probably helpful. I had a lot of my friends transferred in their junior year.
Yeah.
So I think it's fairly common even if you don't have a baby in the mix.
Definitely. I took a semester break at one point and just went back to community college, got more credits done, and then came back to the same school too.
Yeah, there are a lot of different options. I think if you're still with your partner, then absolutely talk to them about it.
For sure.
Comment 1. I don't think we can answer this. Well, you didn't try hard.
We're trying our best.
It depends on her support system while you're gone.
Yeah.
If she can live with her parents, that's a major difference versus if she can't, for example. OP says she can live with her parents. I'm almost positive. Reply says sit down with her and them to talk about it. Hopefully they want you to go to college as much as you do. The worst thing you can do for your future and your girlfriends and your new child is put off college or end up not going. But you need to be front and center to discuss this with both your parents because they'll all need to be involved to make this work. Godspeed, son. You're not the first couple to go through something like this. Another reply says, hey, guy, if I can give you any advice, it's go to college.
I'm sorry.
Hey, guy.
I just read that as like, hey, guy, if I can give you any advice, is go to college. All right? I didn't go to college. I work, I break my back all day, all right? Go to college, guy.
Come on, guy. And then the next comment's a pirate. And he's like, hey, go on a cruise. It's
I
so
suggest
cheap.
taking to the sea. None of your problems can follow you to the sea.
You mentioned you are somewhat computer savvy.
I don't know what those are.
Major in CS or something. C. And finish as fast as possible. That degree will very likely open up the possibility of you working from home if necessary. Good point. Allowing you the time to stay home with the kids so your girlfriend can take care of herself. Yeah, maybe then you guys can swap and she can go to college.
Yeah.
Options.
That actually, I do. That is a very solid
Yeah.
suggestion right there for sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well,
This-
you did you comment that?
What?
I meant him going into like computer science.
Oh.
So it's like
I thought you were
because like it
saying mine.
allows him to.
Yeah, no, that was theirs. It's fine. This will be payback for the few years she sacrificed in the beginning so you could get the degree. Just my 2 cents. Comment 2 says having a child is a lot of money, as you said. Raising a child is more money years after years. The longer you will wait to have a decent job, the harder and more impossible it will seem for you to offer your child and your girlfriend a decent life. There is always the possibility to take certification instead of university if you want to stay close. But for a good future, you have to make sacrifices, and your girlfriend have to make sacrifices to deal with the best choice for the three of you. Having a decent job is a priority if you ask me. OP says, right, I understand that, but to get a decent job, most people would need a college degree. That is my understanding. And so that's where the dilemma is. I mean, I don't think it's necessary, like, you necessarily need a college degree to have, like, a fulfilling career. However, I feel like if you don't have a college degree, then you need a lot of time and, like, focus on whatever career you're pursuing. And you're not going to necessarily have that with a kid.
I feel like I wonder, it's going to depend on what their living situation is too, because if she's living with her parents, then, then I guess she has to stay where she is.
Yeah.
But is there the option for her to move with you?
Yeah, and then you guys find a job or a living situation there.
Yeah.
I guess the issue is that she would no longer have the help of her parents, and she's like 17 or 18.
Right, which is, even when you're not 17, 18, I think having parents close by helps a lot.
Sure, yeah. So I think that's just
also
the tricky
trade
part.
school.
Yeah, my uncle went into trade school, and I think he dropped out of high school to do that. This is in Australia, but worked for him. He has a very nice place now with kids.
Trades are needed.
Mm-hmm. Reply says, unless you are incredible with a resume or a portfolio full of successes, don't expect someone to waste their time on you without a degree. Having a knack and being hireable are different traits. I'm not saying it never happens, but it isn't something I would bet my kid and wife's well-being on. Go to college, get your degree, drag the girl with you while you both work side jobs when that is possible. Scratch by the early years of your kid's life to secure a comfortable future. Going back to college gets more difficult and less appealing every year you are working a crap job. Make sure both of you go to college and don't start making excuses. OP says, we both want to go to college, but we also want to be there for the baby. She wants to be a nurse and me a computer scientist, so they're both lucrative fields, but with necessary schooling to advance in either fields. In which case, maybe she can go to, community college for now around her. Right. And when she's going to college, having the parents help take care of the kid. Or even like if this is a story from now, looking at online school.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that option, that you could totally do school online now. But, I still think that he going into computer science, they have computer science courses at community college.
Yeah.
And, just getting the base credits, because you also have to do, the random, I don't even remember what it was, English and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we were required to do a while ago. But that could definitely be done at community college. I guess it's a question of if he's set on this one university. And I'm sure that if you also talk to the admissions, there could be leeway into would they accept him in 2 years' time, in a year's time,
Yeah, like just, pushing it off for a little bit. I think I think probably he's just really excited about, or he was really excited about that, which is,
fair, it's
kind
fun.
of been thrown off. Reply says, you can go to college with kids. I had both of mine while I was in undergrad, and it turned out amazingly. College courses are flexible, and you can make your schedule work around each other in a way that you can't do with work. If all else fails and you can't do it this year, you can always both go next year. Just be sure that you actually do it. Comment 3 says, gotta go for the delayed gratification year. If you shoot low now, you may get trapped in a cycle of desperation and poverty. Look into government assistance programs and work your butt off while in school to provide for the family you've started. During all of this, remember that you love this woman. Don't let your family fall apart, or else everything will be much harder than it's already going to be. Communicate with her and be sensitive to her needs while also communicating yours. You both need to be adults now. By the way, it's the adult thing to do to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is an edit to finish this story off. Do you have any final thoughts or wisdom to impart to OP?
Oh, financially. On this whole situation.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of moving parts to give direct advice. But the bottom line is that kids are expensive. Like they're saying, sacrifices are going to happen with having a kid. There's a lot of different things I could say as financial advice with having a kid, which is there becomes this checklists of financial things that you should usually do anyways, but when you have a kid, it becomes a little bit more pressing. So we talked about earlier in the episode, creating like a trust or
Yeah.
a will, estate planning. That becomes very important because that's where you write, if God forbid something were to happen to you, who's going to take care of the child?
Mm-hmm.
Once you do get a job, if then you're dependent on one person having the job, insurance, and even a person who doesn't necessarily work for a salary but is a stay-at-home parent, important for them to have insurance too, because if they're not there, then you will start paying for someone to be
Yeah.
there full time. A lot of things to consider with having a new baby. Budget, the list goes on and on. I've actually done seminars about them recently.
Oh wow. Well, perfect. This is great advice.
Down the street at the
Yeah.
pump station. If you recently had a child, then you have some questions
Yeah.
about how to prepare yourself.
Okay, perfect. This is so relevant. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's all really great advice.
Awesome.
And I think, yeah, I mean, I imagine that it would be very scary as an 18-year-old to have all of this kind of placed at your
Absolutely.
feet. But seems like you've got a good head on your shoulders.
Yeah. I think the number one thing is just communication
Yeah.
with your partner.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these stories come down to communication with your partner or your family member. You
Yeah.
know, it's unfortunately one of the leading reasons for divorce and financial troubles, and also tends to cause a lot of family tension in general. So being able to have open conversation or have a, mediator like a financial advisor, like an estate planning attorney or a therapist that can be that person to help you have those conversations. It's
Yeah.
always going to be helpful.
Yeah, very cool. And edit. Thanks for all the replies so far. It's really been stressful, to be completely honest. Her living situation for the next year or so would be fine because her parents are very supportive. Just maybe not in this situation, but they wouldn't throw her out. As to what she wants me to stay, of course, and I want to as well. But I feel, as many of you have said, a college education and degree is what will ultimately lead to a more supportive career. I do have decent computer coding skills, so if I can get a job in that field, I wouldn't necessarily have to go to university to get a decent paying job. And that is the end of that story. Good luck to you, OP. I think everyone has, different experiences in life, and one person's road or path is not necessarily the right one for you.
Definitely.
I think, you'll figure it out. But that's the end of that story. And I think that's the end of our time with you. But you've done such a great job.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me. It's been so much fun.
I'm glad. No, you did. You did amazing. Everyone say thank you in the chat. I think I also have noticed that the chat has been appreciating all of your comments and
Well,
stuff.
thank you, Chad. And,
Yeah.
if you continue to have questions, I'm on social media. Markets with
please
Mia.
plug.
Yeah, Markets with Mia. I work for Gerber Kawasaki. So, always feel free to reach out to me either on our website or on my socials. That's my handle.
Yeah, it looks
Awesome.
like we got Instagram and TikTok here as Markets with Mia.
Yes,
correct?
those are the main ones, Instagram and
Gotcha.
TikTok.
Perfect.
Instagram, you'll see my personal life. TikTok, who knows what I'm doing. It just depends on the day.
Yeah, if you want to be friends with Mia, Instagram. I don't know what.
If you want some financial advice, sometimes just an
Yeah.
insight of whatever my brain's thinking about in that moment, that's my TikTok.
Perfect. I'll be on there.
Well, I'm going to give you a little outro real
Yeah.
quick here. Mia Samson, who's with us today, is a wealth advisor and the director of marketing at Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. She specializes in working with professional women, entrepreneurs, rising leaders, helping them take control of their finances with clarity, confidence, and a personalized plan. Her approach supports clients as they navigate big goals such as launching a business, building wealth, or preparing for early retirement, which we had a story about that today.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
And I'll walk you out.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll be right back, guys.
Yes, I will babysit. Thank you,
Wait,
Mia.
hold on, I took this off.